Land back, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning.
Land back, everybody. Are we live? Are we live, y'all? Can y'all hear us?
Come on in. Welcome. Good morning, Psychopraxis. Good morning, Haney. Good morning, Nanufar. Welcome to our last episode of War of the Flea, where we're going over our last few chapters and really break it down for y'all. Please come in the room. Make sure you like the video, put a comment in the chat, and most importantly, share. If you don't see any of your comrades up in here that should be up in here, please give them a call and let them know that Ghazi and SG are personally inviting them to come in here. Please. Good morning.
Land back, y'all. We are looking into these comments, y'all. Lord have mercy. Where is Solimar? Where is Prodigy? I see you.
Get in here.
Land back, Red Walk, tell white peoples to pay reparations. Red. Land back. Red just joined the reparations court again. Land back, everybody. Land back. All right, so while we're getting in the room, y'all, I wanted to read something real quick. Not the whole article, but I think that it's really important that while doing this revolutionary work, which we do, is we remember, why we do what we do. And today I woke up to a very upsetting article, which was shared by Mike Africa Jr. If you don't know Mike Africa Jr., he is a brother that is a child of the revolutionary movement in Philadelphia that was bombed. And he has been leading the freedom of the Move 9 and also raising resources for lawyers and, hospital bills, all kinds of things for him and his family throughout this time. And he's also right now assisting with leading the campaign to free Mumia Abu-Jamal. And he posted this article from The Guardian that just got released this morning, which is titled, "Bones of Black Children Killed in Police Bombing Used in Ivy League Anthropology Course." The bones of Black children who died in 1985 after their home was bombed by Philadelphia police in a confrontation with the Black Liberation Group, which was raising them, are being used as a case study in an online forensic anthropology course presented by an Ivy League professor. First and foremost, there was no confrontation going on during the Philadelphia police bombing and burning down of the house and also firing their weapons. No one has found any evidence of any bullets leaving the house towards the police. Even the pig that got shot, they showed that was friendly fire from his own freaking comrade in the pig department that was behind him. So the Guardian got that wrong. It has emerged that the physical remains of one or possibly two of the children who were killed in the aerial bombing of the MOVE organization in May 1985 have been guarded over the past 36 years in the anthropological collections of the University of Pennsylvania and Princeton. You weren't guarding them or watching over them. You bought them and used them to make more money for your university, while the mother of this child is still mourning and suffering. The institutions have held on to the heavily burned fragments and since 2019 have been deploying them for teaching purposes without the permission of the deceased living parents. To the astonishment and dismay of present-day MOVE members, some of the bones are being deployed as artifacts in an online course presented in the name of Princeton and hosted by online study platforms. Real Bones, Adventures in Forensic Anthropology is the title of the class. The professor is holding bones of a 14-year-old girl whose mother is still alive and grieving. By Michael Africa Jr. You can read the rest of the article at theguardian.com. But I just want to state that, like, these people, this system, these settlers, these colonizers have not changed since the first day they came on our shores. Like, their relationship to us has not changed. And we have to get all of our people to come to terms with that reality, to understand our responsibility. Because it's unacceptable for us as African people, as colonized people, to know that this goes on and continue your day regularly. Know that the bones of a 14-year-old African child who was bombed and murdered by the state is being shipped around between two universities. How did they even get those bones? You know what I mean? Like, how did it go from, you know, the state sweeping up the area, collecting, and supposed to give the remains to the family to bury? What occurred for the university to get, understand, some black market, like, stuff, not even black market, just regular white market stuff went on, like, and it's really horrific and it's really disgusting, and we have to end it. Like, I get that a lot of people and organizations and influencers, whatever, like to talk about what goes on, like how horrible it is. But I don't want to get lost in the horrible. I want to get out of the horrible. I want to end the horrible. And I want to understand there's horrible to get me to this point and to get others to this point. But, like, we have to discuss solutions. We have to be a part of solutions. This is why we created the Black Hammer organization. And so many of you may ask, you know, how is Black Hammer able to do so many profound things? And it's because we've accepted the reality of who these beasts are and who we as colonized people must become. You know, and we work with that energy, that diligence, that professionalism, and that comes out materially to show that. So to those who are watching that are not yet hammers, join.
For real.
This has to be done. This has to be done. And the Black Hammer organization will be responding to this. So Princeton, we'll see you soon. And also to the members of the Black Hammer organization, let this strengthen you, let this steel you, let this get you to become more cadre. And this is why I chose this book as one of the most important books I've read my whole life. And the reason is because in this book, it doesn't hyper focus or focus much at all. It talks about the issues or the horrors of what is going on in the system, and more about the science of overturning that system and that system science of retaining itself, you know? And it was just the book was just a place where I could come to the recipe of my freedom, you know? And how that means everything to us. Like, just give us the freaking recipe to get free, and I'll do it. Like, I don't care how dangerous it could be or whatever like that. Like, give me the fucking recipe because it's time to get free.
For real. And one of them recipes in this book.
Laying back. This the cookbook right here, y'all.
This the cookbook.
This the cookbook for the recipes. Laying back, y'all. So share, share, share. Share as your life depends on it. Share as your freedom depends on it. Share as the people you are sharing it to, life and freedom depends on it. Because it does. Because it does.
Because it actually does. That where we're going in this society, how much is decaying, how much is declining, there is no other option than to build a future for ourselves. Anything else is not there. It's simply not there. It's an illusion.
Period. Let's get to these announcements.
Land back. All right. So, of course, we building Hammer City. And for all of you new viewers, Hammer City is the spot for a dual contending power. The Black Hammer organization, under the indigenous leadership of the land liberators, have been able to acquire 200 acres for us to begin building a dual contending power that is going to push us into this next stage of anti-colonial struggle. We're going to have our own education systems, healthcare systems, food systems, literally everything by ourselves, for us, by us, and in ecological harmony, because we believe in taking care of this planet. So, y'all, we got a goal today of $400. So let's make it. So please start donating to Build Hammer City on Cash App, Venmo, as well as GoFundMe.com/Build Hammer City. And please leave a comment if you're donated on GoFundMe. It's really important for the people to see.
Oh my goodness!
Why you're doing it. Okay, Oju with the $50.
$50.
All right.
Man, got 50 on it. Who is going to match that Oju? But listen, y'all know 4 is my favorite number. There's about 100 of y'all watching right now live. If each of y'all donated $4 right now, we would make it. So at least donate $4.
Look at that.
Right,
we had a fourth of our goal already.
Oh my goodness, $40.
All right, get it coming. All right, another $10 coming in. Please keep donating.
We love to see it. All right, y'all. Keep those donations coming to Build Hammer City. Build Hammer City on Cash App and Venmo. Tweet it out right now. You know we love making them white leftists angry.
Every weekend.
So go out there and go to the white leftist home, Twitter, which they never believe. Even when they're at the protest, they're on their phone, on Twitter. Anyways, go to them, to their little bird's nest, them birds, and tweet, Black Hammer has 200 acres. Black Hammer has liberated 200 acres
of land.
Yes, and giving it to the indigenous people as a show of colonized solidarity. Well, unity. We don't have solidarity. We have unity here. This is land back. I'm Alicia. Land back. Minister C. $10.
Justine. Flea. All right, y'all really coming through with the
Yes.
donations.
Frederico, steal another 15 from your white roommate, Frederico. Steal another 15. They sleep right now. They probably knocked out all meth right now. You don't have no crackers if they love meth.
They love meth.
Just go up in there and swiggle and get them cash pockets. Anyways, y'all.
Get some coins.
We got a lot to read from here. Y'all see all these little marks and y'all, we got to go through it. So we're going to go through chapter 1 first and foremost. And not chapter 1. What was the first chapter? Not 11, not 10, 9. Chapter 9, y'all. We gonna go through it really quickly and talk about it. Did y'all like, first and foremost, y'all, we is done with this book. Can we say we did it in the comments?
Did it, y'all.
Say we did it in the comments. It's good to accomplish something. We did it. We got through this book, y'all. We did it, and we did it together. Another book down. Another book down. So amazing. So amazing. All right, SG, what did you want to come up and read with this chapter 9?
All right, y'all. Well, if you got your own physical copy, which you should have got, we're on page 147, and we're on the very last
147, Oju.
Very last paragraph of the chapter. All right. The object of the guerrilla is not to win battles, but to avoid defeat. Not to end the war, but to prolong it. Until political victory, more important than any battlefield victory, has been won. Sacrificing the advantages of guerrilla tactics for military strategy based on territorial investment, the Greek communists opposed strength with weakness. In risking a military confrontation, they gambled not only their available manpower, but something more important, their political prestige as a revolutionary force able to defy the military colossus. And in losing the gamble, they lost the essential momentum, the high sense of popular anticipation, the bandwagon effect on which the success of any political movement depends. Revolution is by definition a mass phenomenon. Greece, Malaya, the Philippines, all illustrate the axiom that without mass participation, or at least popular support, there can be no revolutions. The Hucks lost it, the Chinese and Malaya never had it, and the Greek communists threw it away. So I wanted to choose this because if you are to engage in guerrilla warfare and then you change your priority to military victory from political, you've ended the guerrilla war, you've cut away from yourself. Is that within these three specific revolutions, there was no mass connection. And when it really needed to happen, when the repression started getting difficult, all of a sudden, there's no place for the guerrillas to actually hide. Part of the guerrillas' ability to camouflage amongst the people is because they've won the people. Mm-hmm. And when the people haven't been won, you have nowhere to hide. And you have alienated yourself from the people with your acts of terrorism. And so you're essentially destroying your own cover. When you don't have any cover, you don't have anywhere to go.
You're getting rid of that invisibility cloak, Harry Potter!
Mm-hmm. And you will lose.
Y'all know I'm a Harry Potter fan.
And you will lose. And
yes.
Like not having, like for example, when the Greeks didn't take a tactical approach to heavy military repression, they used all of their forces to a typical military army.
Yeah.
And when you're in a guerrilla position, that doesn't work. It will never work that way. It has to be quick, lightning, small attacks of picking at the dog like a flea. And this was a mistake that, you know, the Greeks tried flexing their so-called power way too soon. And not only did it end that current revolutionary movement, it killed the inspiration and the idea that a revolutionary future could happen at all. And there hasn't been a revolutionary uptick up until recently within Greece. But that shows how far you can stunt revolutionary fervor, inspiring the masses of people if you act premature and if you're only concerned with the military victories of a guerrilla war.
Yeah.
You have to win every single political victory. And if you don't have mass participation, you will be crushed out. So winning the minds and the hearts of the masses is absolutely essential.
Absolutely essential. You know who else knows that winning the hearts and the minds are absolutely essential?
Yes.
George Bush Jr.
Oh.
Who recently released his painting book. And within the painting book, it's paintings of what he calls, I don't call these people this name, he calls them immigrants. He has a book, The Man That Created ICE. There you go. Woo! The world we live in. The man who created ICE. Okay? George Bush. The man who started this endless war with Afghanistan and Iraq, knowing dang well Iraq did not have no weapons of mass destruction.
None.
Anyways, is making a book, is releasing a book of horrible paintings of the faces of colonized people, and is being paraded around as the most liberal angel in the world, this kind angel, kind white angel, because he's got an eye up here and an eye down here. Like, I don't want to be drawn by that man. Do not draw me. And he's picking out random ass, like, colonized people. So basically, he has a Rolodex of and nobody's asking questions. How does he have access to these random identifications of what they call immigrants?
It's like, I want this one, and I want this one, and I want this one.
And then draw them.
And I'm going to draw them all lumpy and lopsided.
Y'all, I can't. I cannot. I will not. Okay, so anyways, my Read That Back starts on 136. And I talked about the George Bush Jr. to get here. Okay, how you pronounce this baby? Magasai? One more time, Chief Sante, who is from the Philippines. I'm getting it straight from the islands. How you say that?
Magsaysay.
Magsaysay. I'm gonna put some Trini on it. You know what I mean? You feel me? Magsaysay. So Magsaysay, when you're reading, Magsaysay, what used to be a guerrilla, used to be a revolutionary. And then through bargaining, became an imperialist, a neo-colonial puppet, and now was a puppet for white power, for the US, to try to get dominance of the Philippines. Y'all, do you see how dangerous a sellout is? Do you see how dangerous, like somebody that was in our ranks and then leaves and takes the science and uses it against us is? I must read this. So that's why we unite on our 4 principles. That's why we do political education. That's why we have struggles. That's why we don't keep soft around us.
Mm-hmm. That's why there's rumors that we disappear people or whatever.
Magsaysay's first step was to reorganize the army and put an end to military terrorism. Pressure against the Huks was increased by sending out small armed units functioning more like what's that word?
Constabulary.
Constabulary. You know, she got dyslexia. Then troops to hunt down the guerrillas piecemeal while devoting most of the army to social work, setting up medical stations, building schoolhouses, repairing roads and bridges, helping the peasants get their rice to market. His second step, and the first, would have been useless without it, was to obtain legislation that made it possible to offer the Huks what they had been fighting for, on the condition that they lay down their army. An amnesty was proclaimed, and the communist slogan, "Land for the landless," was subverted by the Argian reform and resettlement program, under which any guerrilla who surrendered was given a plot of his own. Clever bribery worked where other inducements did not. I want to get big on this. I don't think y'all understand the importance of Magsaysay. Make me big, please. Do you understand who Magsaysay is? Magsaysay is the creator of COINTELPRO. This was in 1950. The empire was losing all over the world, could not contain the world, until they went back and studied what worked in the Philippines that Magsaysay taught them. The science of COINTELPRO, of how to actually go to war with the guerrilla, how to actually go to war with the revolutionary, how to actually go to war with the anti-colonial movement, did not come in from the mind of a white, came from a sellout. Magsaysay not only undermined the People's Revolution of the Philippines, Magsaysay undermined the People's Revolution around the world. Do you understand? Because of Magsaysay, the white power system in America, when fighting the Black Panther movement, right? The reason why you have food in breakfasts in schools now is because the Black Panther Party did it first. But the military, the CIA, the feds understood that they needed to do it because Magsaysay taught them. So the welfare system, all these things, the neo-colonial puppets, all of these things of this charity, right? Magsaysay. And how dangerous it has been. How dangerous it has been that we are fighting against it today because it puts us in the war of the minds and the war of our people. But we are engaged in, we have evolved, and Magsaysay ain't to a hammer. Okay? So these Magsaysay children, when you see the BLM women at the top, them 3 at the top, them Magsaysay women. When you see Barack Obama, that's Magsaysay child. When you see Kamala Harris, that's Magsaysay. Ooh, land back, y'all. Land back. All right, well, that's all I wanted to get into with this chapter real quick. And SG already read the other mark that I had and laid that out perfectly. But I did not want to miss that we spit on Magsaysay's name. I did not want to miss that.
Never.
I did not want to miss that.
I think that's going to be a new way we describe sellouts, Magsaysay. That you're making a Magsaysay. And also, I just want, to put this contextually with like the protests right now, sellouts and neo-colonial puppets are going to pop up again. And now we understand the actual danger of them. It is asking you, the revolution is asking you to take these individuals out of the community. Stop letting them lead. Stop letting them have a mic. Stop letting them lead our people into danger. And you'll know who they are. They come up out of nowhere, usually by themselves, don't have any real connection to the community, just asking to raise money, talking about reform, election, all of those kinds of things to divert and change your energy, or putting your energy into like this cycle of protest where you get brutalized, beat up, and arrested. These kinds of individuals are dangerous to actually building organized power. And it is time, when you're out there, to take them away from the protests. Get them out of the community. Like we can't keep doing this year after year.
Period, y'all. Period. Super important, and I want to 100% unite with SG. And that's why we have to like politicize this verdict that comes. That's McSci-Sciism. You feel me? That's this verdict, the money they give families. The state gives families, here's 27 million here. Girl, first and foremost, that 27 million, like this not money, not real. So there's anyway. So they give families, they pay people off, they, you know, write street signs, Black Lives Matter, and all kind of stuff. That's McSci-Sci. That's McSci-Sci. And we have to inform the people that stimulus checks, that's McSci-Sci. You know, Biden saying, oh yes, I'm going to make a way for all of these indigenous people that I've caught in these camps become citizens. That's McSci-Sci. You know how, you know, y'all have no idea.
Tell them.
Do you know how indigenous people on the border become citizens? You know, the way, the easiest way is to work on these farms as slaves. To work on farms as slaves. You know, and any which way, McSci-Sciism, right? It's all McSci-Sci. So any which way, and that's why we don't just give like the PPE and the food, clothes, and the shelter. What we give our people, more important than anything, is the opportunity to participate in their own liberation. The opportunity to participate in this kitchen of freedom cooking. You feel me? The opportunity to meet their own leadership. The opportunity to rise as a human being and take your life into your own hands. And that's what the state can never give. Ever. The state could give more PPE than us. The state give more houses than we could ever give, because they've got all our, you feel me? But what we can give, that is more than anything they can offer, is freedom. Shabbat. Woo! Lord, let's go to this next chat. Well, read that back, y'all. What's y'all's read that back?
Let's look at y'all.
Up in here, drop that, read that back.
All right. From Shalo, unwillingly or psychologically unable to take the initiative, they fail to seize and hold the popular imagination, and so to create the broad mass unrest needed to topple the government or to build a revolutionary army capable of confronting and defeating the government army. Public opinion, says Clausewitz, is ultimately gained by great victories. The hux needed is, if not great victories, then a strong foretaste of success in order to create the bandwagon effects on which, I don't know, kind of ends right there. But yes, I really unite with that. Is when you lose your connection with the masses, it is over. And at all costs, you cannot lose that connection. Like I'm saying, y'all, when you are out there speaking to the people, you can't be rude to them. You can't be degrading to them. You can't be dismissive.
Blaming them.
Blame them. You can't steal from them. You can't insult them.
Saying they sacrificed you.
Anyways.
Or they can't make a revolution.
Or that the masses of people just aren't smart enough for revolution yet. Or like having no faith in the colonized poor working class that they can lead themselves. All of that will get you killed in your goals of revolution, especially if you've never established that connection. And in Black Hammer, when we go into our colonized communities, of course, they're reactionary and backwards ideas, but do we ever place the blame on them? Never. It is always colonialism. And that is part of our principles of unity. We recognize that all problems colonized people face stem from colonialism.
Woo-woo!
So how dare us as revolutionaries to ever blame one individual for something that colonialism has systemically forced into people? It's not right. Not right.
It's not right at all. Land back. I wanted to read Federico. Federico, yours says 107, but I don't think that's our 107.
It might be on the PDF.
Oh, okay. Land back. I'm gonna read from yours, but if it cuts off, you're gonna have to help me, child. Anyways, aircraft and artillery provide weapons of far greater range than the long bow. Explosives formidably multiply the striking power of the arrow. Wait, is this from the next chapter? This is not from this chapter. This is not from chapter 9. Y'all gotta stay in the rules. We will get to that chapter, Federico. We are on chapter 9. Chapter 9. Don't be skip yipping. Don't be skip yipping. Who here got chapter 9? Okay, Teray. To be successful. Wait, let me see if you did it, Teray. Because we'll just stop this whole thing. To be successful, the gorilla must be loved and admired. To attract followers, he must represent not only success but absolute. This is not chapter 9 either. You got a chapter 9 one, baby.
All right,
Shagun follows the rules. Say in the comments, Shagun follows the rules.
Wow.
Okay, thank you so much, baby. In the Greek context, the revolutionary principles bears repetition. The object of the gorilla is not in battle, but to avoid defeat. Shabbat!
Wait, I read this.
Oh, you did. But anyways.
Plagiarism.
Shagun does not follow the rules.
Hashtag Shagun does not follow the rules.
We moving it. It's okay, though. The 9th chapter is a cute chapter, but it's not the strongest chapter. The strongest chapter is coming. So, chapter 10. We going in, y'all. I have a lot of markers. Y'all just gonna hear me read a lot. It's fine. I read beautifully. Anyways, chapter 10. Shagun says I read beautifully, and Shagun is a teacher, and he has a lot of other students reading all the time. So to Shagun students, I am a better reader than all of y'all. You can never beat me. You can never beat me, Shagun's little students. I don't care they're in high school.
You're gonna be canceled for yelling at 15-year-olds.
What? This point number 2. We is all equal. We all equal. Anyways, land back. 149. He goes into the art of war, which I made y'all read. Anyways, our warfare is based on deception. Therefore, when capable, feign incapacity. When active, inactivity. When near, make it appear that you are far away. When far away, that you are near. Offer the enemy a bait to lure him. Feign disorder and strike him. When he concentrates, prepare against him. When he is strong, avoid him. Anger his general and confuse him. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. Keep him under strain and wear him down. When he is united, divide him. Attack where he is unprepared. Sally out when he does not expect you. These are the strategies, keys of victory. Land back. I wanted to also read on page 150. If there's anything new about guerrilla war, of which Sun Tzu surprisingly anticipates by 2,000 years virtually all questions of a military nature, it is only in its modern political application, to put it another way, the specifically modern aspect of guerrilla warfare is in its use as tool of political revolution, the single sure method by which an unarmed population can overcome mechanized armies, or failing to overcome them, can stalemate them and make them irrelevant. To understand how this comes about does not require a study of military tactics so much as of the political problems to which military methods, guerrilla methods, may provide a solution. And also on page 151, obviously none of this can occur except in the presence of certain distinct social and political conditions, which combine to produce a potentially revolutionary situation. Successful insurgency presupposes the existence of valid popular grievances, sharp social divisions, an unsound of stagnant economy, an oppressive government. These factors obtaining revolution will still be far off unless there exists or comes into existence the nucleus of a revolutionary organization capable of articulating and exploiting popular dissatisfaction with the status quo. That is so powerful. I wanted to say, in here, he releases and says, like, no matter like all the advancements that has occurred, like from the artillery to the jet planes and all of the kind of stuff, the art of warfare, like, is the same since Sun Tzu, right? Over 2,000 years ago, like pre-Jesus times, y'all.
Yeah, the art of war was written before the Bible was written. Like,
y'all, the Bible.
The Bible.
So, yeah. And I think that's really important for us to understand, because he lays out in here, like Federico said in this chapter, that like no matter what they got, and so many people are afraid, the masses of our people are afraid that this system cannot be torn down, because just look how powerful it is. So powerful, so powerful. It's not so powerful. And he says you need to show them examples of them like losing against, a people's army. They are leaving Afghanistan and Iraq right now as we speak. And we talk about that because the imagery of being unstoppable is so freaking important, right? And so our people will come and like, but they got drones and they got nukes. Child, do you know when they built these nukes? The 70s was the last time a nuke was constructed, y'all. Do you understand how old this is? And they're up against two nuclear enemies, two nuclear-powered enemies right now, which is Russia and China, whose nukes are way more advanced than the United States of America. They're still working with a 50-year-old missile system compared to Russia that just updated over 80% of their military. You understand? Over 80% of their military is made in 2021. You know what I mean? So like,
same with China, that like they've been going through the process of updating the entire nuclear arsenal, their entire military. In the US, it's not. It's just not. It doesn't have the ability to right now.
And how it says, like, straight up, these factors, like, listen to these factors. Successful insurgency presupposes the existence of valid popular grievances. The masses are protesting, upset, unemployed, distraught with this system. Sharp social divisions. Do you not see Trumpers running in the goddamn Capitol? What they call liberals and leftists burning cities down, and everybody's right? What else? An unsound or stagnant economy. An oppressive government. Well, we've been had that since day one. I mean,
it's been.
What you think about that, SG?
Yeah, no, I think that really lays it out that, again, this main theme in every part of this, within the failures, within the successes, inspiring the people. The conditions are ripe now. Right now, as we speak, the pandemic, the economy, the world war, the delegitimizing of the state and its ability to take care of people is happening now. And I just want to take it back to the last chapter. The sellout is the most dangerous within all of this right now. Mixi size. McSci-Sciism is the most dangerous thing right now, because that is the only semblance of control the state will have over its own demise right now, is propping up someone like that. So if we can take advantage of this revolutionary situation, pull people out of this into organized revolutionary power, it's done. It is done, y'all. It is done.
No weapon
can prosper against us.
Ooh, 152. Y'all, I told you I'm rated this chapter. In other circumstances, disorder may be deliberately created. In Cuba, Algeria, Cyprus, as examples that come readily to mind, the War of the Flea was initiated by the deliberate acts of the revolutionary nucleus, proclaiming its defiance of authority and banking on popular support in an open declaration of revolutionary war. The means are not important. The important element is the leadership itself. Bandits are not revolutionaries. Looters are not guerrillas. In order to attract a following, the revolutionary leaders must stand on firm moral ground. Here you go, Teray. They must have some greater purpose than the furtherance of personal ambition. This in turn implies an ideology or a clear cause to explain their decisions and the reasons of their insurgency. They cannot be mere opportunists. When conflict occurs, you see, to all my haters out there, I want to say that's why you're not leading, because your mother effing opportunist, and that's why everything you build crumbles, and what I build keeps building. Ho ha! Anyways, I'm like the new Michael or something.
Grammy Award winner right here.
Say give her a Grammy in the comments. Say give her a Grammy.
The comments.
When conflict occurs, whether spontaneous or induced, the revolutionary leaders must be capable of explaining and rationalizing its confused and often apparently accidental character. Isolated acts of defiance must be given coherency within a revolutionary frame of reference. Leadership must be prepared to make most of every opportunity to accelerate the processes of social ferment and political disruption. I just want to say that part right there. I hope y'all listening, Agitprop. That's your job up right here. You understand? Give coherency. Speak clear to the people. Lay out what is going on to them. What you want to read that back, SG? Because I got 50 other pop-up boxes.
All right, well, I'm going to hop right to the end of the chapter.
Oh, well, before you go to the end then, let's go to the middle. And then we'll end it there.
You got it.
154. 154. Read that, SG. 154. Just read that list right there, and then read that paragraph.
1. An unstable political... the prerequisites are the following. This is for insurgency, guerrilla warfare.
Revolution has joy.
1. Exactly. An unstable political situation marked by sharp social divisions and usually, but not always, by a foundering or stagnant economy. 2. A political objective based on firm moral and ideological grounds that can be understood and accepted by the majority as the overriding cause of the insurgency, desirable in itself and worthy of any sacrifice. Principles of unity. 3. An oppressive government with which no political compromise is possible. 4. Some form of revolutionary political organization capable of providing dedicated and consistent leadership toward the accepted goal. There is one final requirement: the clear possibility or even the probability of success. Until people believe that a government can be overthrown, and it must be the first act of insurgency to demonstrate this possibility by successful defiance of military force, the attempt will not be made. The revolutionary following will not be found.
Break that down for them.
All right, so the material conditions of where you're at have got to be in a pretty specific position. Right now, the country is split. 70 Trumpers, 70 non-Trump people. There is no unity within the country right now. It is sharp political divisions in this country and all around the Western world. There are sharp divisions. There is no united colonial government right now. They all see the resources dwindling, and they're going to start scrambling for the last little semblance of it. And a firm political objective. You can't have a loose ideological understanding like of Black Lives Matter. What was the ideological end? What was the conclusion of that movement? There was nothing solid. There was no clear ideology. You had some abolitionist leaders of Black Lives Matter, and then you had some Black Lives Matter leaders working with federal agents and the Justice Department.
They're evil, them.
There is no ideological unity. But in Black Hammer, we do. We have a very clear political ideology and something that is worth sacrificing and fighting for. And that is our 4 principles of unity. And we believe that colonized working class deserves dictatorship over their lives, land, labor, and resources.
Period. Okay, SG, but I want to break down. Break down, SG. Break it down. Break it down, SG. Break down, SG. Don't say that. Break down America. Break it down, SG. Okay, the next one. Since the gorillas, then I'm going to just read that and I'll pay to stop.
Okay. Since the gorilla's numerical strength and arms are inferior to those of his enemy, or he would not be a gorilla, and since his most immediate concern is mere survival, the basis of all guerrilla tactics is obviously evasion. Successful evasion means the ability to avoid confrontation except at one's own choosing, yet always to be able to achieve the local superiority to strike with effect.
That last paragraph.
If I am able to determine the enemy's disposition, while at the same time I conceal my own, writes Sun Tzu, then I can concentrate and he must divide. And if I concentrate while he divides, I can use my entire strength to attack a fraction of his.
Oh, stop right there.
Wow.
SG is so crazy because I be thinking about how these people were so mad at me in my organization and left this organization because I told them to retreat from these protests, or I tell them, you know, don't stay out all the time of these protests. Do not do no vandalism. Do not do all that kind of stuff so we can stay away and evade.
And because a big majority of the organization listened to you, we now have 200 acres of liberated land because we lived to see another day. You saw what happened to the organizers who organized the protest and directly confronted the state without any organized military faction with them. They were jailed, they were imprisoned, they were assassinated, and the leaders of the community have been taken out. And it has only hurt the inspiration of masses of people who see this misdirection, this possible ability to liberate them, and then it just falls flat on its face. And there is nothing else for these organizers to offer these people. They have broken the trust. They said, oh, we'll go attack this police precinct, but then these organizers then get arrested and jailed and then leave. And now the whole campaign's about the person who got arrested and not the oppression that's within the community. That is opportunism. That does not lead to liberation. So what we say, we go to these protests, but when it gets hot, we retreated. We want to see another day to fight for our people. We can't, what do I look like getting arrested out here for a statue or for this or that? I want liberation and nothing less. And if I get killed, if I get locked up, that only hinders the work. It's not the time, comrades. It is not the kind. It is misdirection. Exactly, Valerie. It is misdirection. It is leading you into something else. Instead, organizers should be teaching us, the colonized masses of people, how to build power so we don't have to interact with the state until one day we have our own people state that's enough to take care of all our needs.
And motherfucking back, y'all. We is having a long read that book trap, Revolutionary BookTrap. Okay, so I want y'all to get comfortable. Get your snacks. Get your good pillow. Okay, get your good pillow and your snacks and your vibrator if needed. Okay, get you that, and for the boys, get your flashlights and relax. And let's get this political education. You feel me? For all those who are under 18. What I was just talking about was different bookmarkers. There's a flashlight bookmarker, and there's these bookmarkers. There's vibrating bookmarkers to remind you time to read.
It keeps the ink fresh.
Let back. Okay, so let's go in. Let's read. Say we up in her. If you up in her, HUR. Because that's how we colonize people talk. Say we up in her. Okay, land back.
Land back.
Have you ever been to a fun book club like this here? Have you ever been?
It doesn't.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's intelligent.
It's intelligent.
And it is very understandable.
Period.
Yeah,
all the other people's book clubs like collapse when there's only 2 people in them. It's just really bad, y'all. So please come in. Also invite your friends and family. I know they're not doing nothing on this Sunday morning pandemic.
We make the basic folk. You feel me? When I say basic folk, and I be thinking like the dumbest person I know, which is Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart. Yeah. I feel like those are the 2 dumbest people I know personally. I feel like if I can make it for Tiffany Haddish to understand,
anyone can understand.
Oh Lord. Anyways, Lord have mercy.
Valerie, we are reading The War of the Flea. You should get yourself a copy.
Laying back, and it's a real quick read, so you ain't missed nothing, baby. You ain't late. You on time. Whenever the ancestors want you here, you're supposed to be here. Shabbat. Okay, page 155. Back to it. The enemy must not know where I intend to battle. If he does not know where I intend to give battle, he must prepare in a great many places. And when he prepares in a great many places, those I have to fight in any one place will be few. And when he prepares everywhere, he will be weak everywhere. Oh, gee. Oh. Oh. Y'all feel, yeah. Oh. We can win. Say we can win in the comments.
We can win.
And when he prepares everywhere, he will be weak everywhere. The foregoing explains, as well as anything that has ever been written, how it is possible for a relative handful of armed men to oppose a vastly superior army. The secret of successes are, first, superior intelligence. We is much more brighter than Joe Dementia Biden.
Very much so.
Even when Joe was smart and sharp and didn't have dementia,
he wasn't smart.
I haven't heard anything Kamala Harris say that I was like, oh wow, that's a college graduate.
She got a degree.
She has not proven to me that she has gotten a degree ever. Anything is stated in her mouth. Anyway, the secrets of success are first, superior intelligence, and second, terrain. Guerrillas representing a popular cause have the tremendous advantage of an intelligence service that encompasses virtually the entire population. The population hides them, and at the same time, it reveals from day to day and hour to hour the disposition and strength of the enemy. Ooh, child.
I just want that to be understood. There's like this idea that the CIA or like the Mossad or all of these like evil intelligence agencies of Western, countries have this all-knowing, all-encompassing ability. They do not. That is Hollywood. That is projected an image to you. The real intelligence service that cannot be defeated is the one of the people. Is that the people 50 miles away will see the army approaching
and tell you.
And if you are connected truly to the masses as the main objective of the guerrilla, you will know that they will be 50 miles away 14 days before they even know they're going to be in that position. And it keeps us ahead. And it falls perfectly in line with evasion. Each and every step evade. Each and every step evade. When they retreat, you go in.
Yes. And this is why we serve the people, so the people understand our relationship to them. Because that is why we give food, clothes, shelter, PPE, and are there in defense for the people all the time. Because the perfect marriage is a revolutionary and the people, right? That we both need each other to have a successful revolution and to be free and to be happy and liberated, right? But it is a marriage. It is a marriage, okay? So we gotta court the people, and in a marriage, you just don't end up, oh, now we're married, right? You gotta date first, right? A little bit. You gotta give some foreplay. You gotta practice tongue strokes. You got to do things. You got to know how to cook their favorite meal. You got to be nice to their mama, even though she got stank ass breath. You feel me? You got to do all them things because you want to marry this mother sucker, right? You make sure whenever he come over, that you clean your boom boom hole, and he think you got a poom poom back there. He think you never shit. He think you never eat because you're trying to marry him.
A diet device.
Okay, so this is what we do. This is why we love people. We here for the people. And then once you marry and the people do marry you, you gotta keep that up. You can never stop that. You feel me? How people be like, oh, now they not doing the same no more. The booty dirty all the time. You know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm married.
What's going on.
You know, right? You can't do that. You know, the tongue game. You don't even give me tongue no more. You used to give me tongue every day.
And now I got a bag.
I used to drive you to see my steak breath mama, and you used to give me some tongue while I'm driving. Almost got off the road. But now what you giving? You feel me? We got to do that for the people every day. So understand that was the courting, and we are still courting the people. You feel me? Black Hammer has not yet married the people. You will know when the people is married to you. When we become a household name, it's coming. That is when we are married to the people. And that is when the tongue strokes got to be even better. You feel me? The booty got to even be cleaner. More consistent. You feel me? You got to put some liquids in that booty, make it feel like a real pumbo, make it juice up. You got to do everything for the people. You feel me? To keep that marriage going on. We have to really be servants to them. And when you do have a marriage to them and you is married to the people will inform you that they are coming. Not just the people. I'm talking about a real intelligence agency. I'm not just talking about the people that see the trucks coming. I'm talking about the people within their own ranks that will call you and tell you what's going on. It has happened in Black Hammer. People in their own ranks.
Look what you've caused in the comments.
I've caused intelligence in the comments. We moving forward. 160. Sun Tzu said, generally, Sun Tzu writes, he who occupies the field of battle first and awaits his enemy is at ease. He who comes later to the fight and rushes into battle is wary. Science, y'all. Science, y'all. That's why we in our communities, in our hood. You want us? Come see about us, ho. Come see about us. Because I've been dating the people for a while and they ready to fight. We ain't married, but they still ready to fight right now. So don't play with it. And you playing with it will get us married. Page 162. The high cost of the anti-guerrilla campaign will be an embarrassment to the government, which will be hard put to explain what it is doing, failing to do. And each encounter will strengthen the guerrillas while weakening the morale of the military opponents. The guerrilla soldier ought always to have in mind, writes Guevara, that his source of supply of arms is the enemy, and that except in special circumstances, he ought not to engage in a battle that will not lead to the capture of such equipment. I just wanted to read the part of just like the prolonging of it. It is not your job as a revolutionary to go and win the war. It is to prolong it, to keep it going for as long as, do you understand? Most of y'all were born like right before the start of the Afghan war, the war of Afghanistan and Iraq, the war on terrorism as it was titled. At that time, in the beginning, the American public wanted war more than anything because of the towers. And literally, oil companies went to what's his name? Not Bush, because Bush was golfing all the time. Cheney went to Cheney and was like, we need to get them angry at the Middle East, and we need to target the Middle East. And they came up with thought banks and things like that to make it like the war on terror came up in like these testing groups and things like that. These think tanks. And Cheney, before Cheney was the vice president, Cheney was an executive for an oil company.
Who would have thought?
And after Cheney was vice president, he was the executive of that same oil company, which made a lot of money. And so later, literally though, the people were engaged in that war, but in Afghanistan, in Iraq, they kept the war going. It's not ending. It's not ending. Okay, you did this, you bombed this. We're still going to fight. We are still going to resist because our need to be free is going to outlast y'all's need for vengeance. Your white need for vengeance. And y'all ain't about it like we is. That's what Afghanistan said. And that's why 20 years later, the Taliban is running Afghanistan and saying, get out, America, get out. Or more will come to you. Get the hell out. And it's embarrassing. And America has the more it is costly. How much did that war cost the United States of America? That it can't even afford it anymore. Because it's in an economic decline, it can't even afford that war anymore. And it's getting harder and harder for them to explain to the masses of the people why they're in that war in the first place. And being embarrassed about it. So important, y'all. All right. SG, close it out. Close this chapter out.
All right. The needs. Oh, we on 169.
169. See what you about to get started.
The needs of the gorilla are few. His rifle, a blanket, a square of some impermeable material to shelter him from the rain, a knife, a compass, stout boots, the minimum of ordinary camping equipment. Personal qualifications are greater. Physically, the gorilla must be strong, with iron legs and sound lungs. Temperamentally, he must be cheerful, stoic, and an ascetic. He must like the hard life he leads. But what is indispensable is ideological armor. Above all, the revolutionary activist must stand on solid moral ground if he is to be more than a political bandit. One is led to believe, as in the case of the Viet Cong, for example, that guerrillas dominate unprotected rural people by threats and terror. It is a convenient thing for country people to say when confronted by government soldiers who ask them why they have sheltered guerrillas. In general, it is not true. There are judicious uses of terror, no doubt, but no guerrilla can afford to use it against the people on whose support and confidence he depends for his life, as well as for his political existence. People are quick to detect difference between opportunism and dedication, and it is the latter that they respect and follow. To be successful, the guerrilla must be loved and admired. To attract followers, he must represent not merely success, but absolute virtue, so that his enemy will represent absolute evil. If the soldiers are idle, drunken, and licentious, the guerrilla must be vigorous, sober, and moral. If enemies are to be disposed of, it must be for moral reasons. They must be traitors, murderers, rapists. The revolution must show that its justice is sure and swift. By contrast, its enemies must be revealed as venal, weak, and vacillating. Vacillating? Land back.
Woo! Make that. Oh, yes. That's powerful.
Back, y'all. So having the moral high ground within a guerrilla war is also absolutely essential. It is not indiscriminate killing. It is not. And that's something that we have to understand from like the Chinese and Vietnamese revolution. The soldiers that they were able to capture, they gave them political education. They didn't torture them immediately. They didn't execute them immediately in front of their family. Yes. Just saying they should have.
But go ahead.
But with like, the South Vietnamese were fighting amongst like the nationalist army within China, winning those people over to the political line of fighting for a class war, fighting against Japanese and American imperialism was what was done. And I think that's laid out here, is that if they did indiscriminately kill all of their enemies, that is a massive portion of the population that they aren't winning. And we know we must have mass support. And not all of our people are going to have correct ideas at all times. And we saw what happened to the Irish when they started using terrorism against the civilian population without a political end. It alienated the people. And at all times, the guerrilla does have to take the moral high ground. We don't steal from the people. We don't loot from the people. We don't rape the people. We don't murder the people.
We don't lie.
We don't lie to
the people.
None of that. because it is absolutely essential for them to see, look at someone finally fighting for me in its full glory.
Say
in
it.
honesty, not because they have some ulterior motive that politicians give. Politicians all the time come to the poor working class and say we're here to fight for them, but really it's a back-ended deal to get a check from some mining company. It is never for the interest of the people.
Oh Lord.
And so, like, again, having a high level of morality, of understanding who the people are and how to treat the people is another sure way to ensure victory. We can't just be terrorists. We can't be liars, thievers, cheaters. We can't be chiefs. We can't be chiefs. But that's why also in this organization, we have a policy called Maintain Your Character, where Maintain Your Character policy is about you can't harm another individual, you cannot harm children, you cannot harm animals, and you cannot harm the earth in any way, shape, or fashion, because that degrades who we are.
Hammers don't litter.
Hammers do not litter. Hammers do not lie. Hammers do not cheat. Hammers do not, none of that. Because we recognize the importance of being revolutionaries with high sense of integrity.
Yes.
Because we look at our revolutionary ancestors and there's some things about their past that we don't find favorable, whether it be sexual assault, infidelity, whatever. We don't want to take that on into this organization. We want an organization of honest revolutionaries to the animals, to the earth, and to each other. Nothing less. Nothing less. So
nothing less. Say nothing less in the comments. Let that word wash over you. I wanted to also continue to read on 170. That was powerful, SG. Revolutionary propaganda. I want y'all to listen. If Agitprop is in the room, say Team Agitprop in the comments. Team Agitprop in the comments. I want to see if Team Agitprop is here, because Team Agitprop needs to listen. Agitation propaganda is our department, the Black Hammer organization. Revolutionary, and it's just basically our media. And why we say propaganda? Because propaganda just means media with a political agenda, and all media, all writings, all books, all songs, everything has a political agenda. So we, again, just like you read, like SG read, we can't lie to the people. So we would never just call our agitation propaganda department the media department. You know, no, we want to let you know everything we put out has a political agenda, and the political agenda is for the dictatorship and leadership of the poor and working class colonized people and their liberation and freedom, and that we are biased to poor working class and colonized people around the world. That's it. So, yeah. Now, just want to let that know. So that's our propaganda. Our propaganda is to let you know that we need a revolution and we need to be free, and you need power and dictatorship over your own land, lives, labor, and resources. Period. Revolutionary propaganda must be essentially true in order to be believed. This is why in Agitprop, from our Instagram to our Black Hammer Times to our tweets, we always make sure to tell the truth about a situation, lay it out to the core of contradiction. This is simple expedience. If it is not believed, people cannot be induced to act on it, and there will be no revolution. Guerrilla leaders do not inspire the spirit of sacrifice and revolutionary will that creates popular insurrection by promises alone or by guns alone. A high degree of selfless dedication and high purpose is required. Whether the primary cause of revolution is nationalism or social justice or the anticipation of material progress, the decision to fight and to sacrifice is a social and moral decision. Insurgency is thus a matter not for manipulation, but of inspiration. That is what it is about. Big up, big up. I mean, big up, yeah. Land back. Thank you so much, Audrey. Whew! This is what is so important. And that's why in the end of all of our articles and the end of all of our Instagram posts, we say join Black Hammer today. Not just to lay out the contradictions of the world, but to solve them, right? And to inspire you that we can do this. That's why we don't just say, oh, this is sad. They killed another one of us. Oh, so sad. Let's be sad. Trigger warning, sad. We're going to sad right now. I'm going to sad. And it's sad. You know, and just leave it there. Or like, it's so sad. Now, right on this what's it called, petition to maybe get something happening. Or it's so sad. give money for the family to have a funeral of the genocide that just happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have to inspire the people that this existence will end, that oppression will end, that liberation is coming,
Mm-hmm.
that freedom is near, right? And this is our true goal here in Black Hammer, in recruitment, in agitation propaganda, is to inspire the masses. Yeah, we're so sad. Go vote.
Like y'all been saying, like it's been 600 years, and you're just saying, "Let's be sad." I'm not gonna give you any solutions. Just be sad, and that's where they leave the masses of people. That's where they get left in
Period.
this. Ugh,
and it's so important because I want to say that, like, personally, as a revolutionary, because I've come to a certain place in my life, I don't care what anyone says about the colony. I'm like, okay, yeah, they probably did that. I don't care. Somebody said, like, do you know the colony is really ran by lizard people and all this kind of craziness and la 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 la. Yeah, okay, revolution, let's do it. I don't care. Like, I'm at a point, like, and most hammers are at a point, like, okay, let's have revolution, and then we'll really see how ugly these people are. We don't, like, they're so freaking savage. I'm sure they've done all kinds of crazy stuff, but, like, we're at that point. But the masses, that's why we are dialectical materialists. That's why we let the masses know X, Y, and Z is occurring of the basis of the things that we know from materialism, and say, this is what is happening. This is why it's so bad. Just to be like, we don't just make up lies about the jab. Y'all know what the jab is. The jab that they say, if you take the jab, you can't catch the C word. If you say that, will be flagged. Anyways, we don't just say, don't take the jab because it's going to make you a zombie. Right?
We say don't take the jab because this is an experimental, genetically engineered vaccine, and we have no idea what it's going to do to you or your body for years. And instead, we do know if you wear a KN95 mask and social distance, you can out-organize the virus and be okay.
Facts on top of facts, on top of facts, on top of facts, would lead them to conclusion that this system is evil. Like, you don't got to lie on this system. You ain't got to fantasize on this system. Like, this system is horrid, regular. Now, I am not saying that after the revolution happens, I need y'all to prepare your minds, because the horrors that we know are only horrors because the system has reported on it, or it's leaked, or things like that have occurred. So we really know a grain of sand on the beach of the horrificness of this system. That I need y'all to prepare your minds once we are beyond the velvet rope, as Janet said.
I just think of the horrors you do know about. And then think about all the unclassified information the Pentagon, CIA, and FBI still harbor and probably will never declassify until their vaults are busted open and we seize and find out what they've been doing exactly. So I'm in unity with CIC. When I hear some crazy shit about the government, it's not like my first be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go change my whole being around this. No, but it's not outlandish to think like, yes, they are killing us with chemicals in the air or in the water or doing this or that or cloning people or doing this or that. Like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, this whole country been trying to build a master race for like 300 years. Nothing is surprising.
Nothing is surprising. Land back. Let's get, before we get to our last chapter, y'all. This is our last chapter. Everybody take a water drink. Everybody drink some water right now. Everybody drink some water. And once you take your first sip, after, you make sure to put a little wet emoji in the comments after you drink your water.
We're not sponsors, by the way.
We're not sponsors. Oh, was I showing the label?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. That did not look right. That did not look right.
You're gonna get
Photoshopped.
God.
No, I'm not.
Make sure y'all's throats are lubricated. Yeah, Throatzillas. Get your throats lubricated. Throatzillas calling on all of y'all.
It's important to stay hydrated, y'all. We gotta live long. You see that?
Look how many people be drinking their water. Y'all got this emoji way in your recents, I can tell.
I love this. Okay, y'all. So now that we are now lubricated, and rejuvenated and hydrated. Y'all, we gotta raise some more money.
Yep, we gotta raise
some more money for that real water. Y'all, the streams, I told y'all we got 200 acres of land and we have 3 natural streams. The clarity of the water. The clarity of the water. I'm gonna show y'all the clarity of the water on my phone. Where's my phone, Lord? Don't worry, I already passed this through defense and security.
Okay.
That they will not be able to find our locations through these photos. But make me big, please, Pastor.
So please donate to Build Hammer City on Cash App, GoFundMe, and Venmo.
Yes.
Hammer City down below. Just
in the name,
$20 can get us some extra water storage. Because of all of y'all's fundraising over the last 2 weeks, we've been able to raise enough money for our base camp, which is going to be under short construction here within the next few weeks. But look at this clear water.
Do y'all see how clear the water of our stream is? Y'all see my boots? Let's focus on my boots first. Y'all see my boots? Look at my manly calf right there. My manly nigga calf. Look at that. Just look at that. So strong, so willed. Oh, look at them.
Who is she?
My same camo pants I've been wearing for 7 years that y'all have not called me out on. Anyways, look at this clean water though. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this water?
That's clean water.
That's Hammer City water. That's one of our 3 streams. You can see right through there. You can see right through her.
And just for $20 today, if you donate, you can get us another one of these. And we need a lot of these.
You gotta show what these, because so big.
This is 7 gallons of water. It costs $20.
Yes, get the filtration system, somebody. Somebody get the filtration system. It's right there, that blue box right there on top. I think that's it.
We get one of these and it fills us up our water. One person needs 1 gallon. So just one of these is enough water for 7 people.
The filtration, it looks like that. It's in a bigger box. Filtration system. Hold on, y'all. You keep talking about this, and I'm gonna get the filtration system.
Yeah.
Donate $20 for this. This is actually $22. Y'all know I'm a cancer and I'm cheap. This is $22. So I'm gonna need y'all to donate $22, and then you can add the tax.
Okay. Thank you, Colonizer Rhett, for the $100 in reparations. But literally, y'all, we go down to the river, fill one of these up, and then put it through our water purification system, which Commander is getting right now. But y'all, really, a couple of dollars goes really far for what we're trying to construct, because the homes that we're building are earth bag homes, and all of the resources are sourced right there on the land, whether that be wood. And again, earth bag homes are mainly made out of earth. So like $5. Okay, Cola just got us a new water.
A
new water jug.
Y'all, this is not the filtration system, but the filtration system is in the car, so we're not gonna go get it. But this is the shower system, and this shower system is $39. It's a pocket shower, okay?
This is how all expensive dozens of comrades are going to shower in this one thing.
Period. So every hammer, well, not every hammer needs a pocket shower, but every hammer house in the Hammer City is gonna need one of these. So we need 77. We're planning to build 77 houses, y'all. Lord,
77 houses.
And so multiply 40 by 70 savings. That's just the showers that we gonna have.
Yeah, that's what we need, y'all. And we got, other things that we got to take care of, like not just a first aid kit, but something a lot more comprehensive, because there is danger up there. Someone could get their, injured or something like that, and we want to be able to take care of ourselves self-sufficiently.
Oh, no, you didn't bring it back in, did you?
What?
The first aid kit.
Oh, no.
It's big, y'all. Y'all gotta stop leaving stuff in the car. We live in the ghetto. Y'all cannot be invading my people like that. Jesus Christ. Anyways, y'all, please make sure to continue to donate. The filtration systems, how much were they?
The water bag filtration system, we're looking at a longer term one. This water filtration can filter up to 99.9%.
Girl, how much is it?
$200.
Oh, tell them more about why it was good. Yeah, you're right. Don't just.
I'm a salesman. I worked for Cutco, that little knife place once. All right, so
girl, everybody works for
the
Cutco.
reason. No, that was a pyramid scheme.
Go ahead.
And the reason why it costs that much is it's a long-term, lifelong warranty of filtration of water.
There we go.
With one of these, we go down to the river. This would be our raw water, but putting it through this filtration system would prevent us from having to use continual bacteria tablets, boiling the water, and instead it just uses gravity to filter out 99.9% of contaminants within the water, whether it be chemical, bacterial, viral, solid matter. That's what we want to get as well, because comrades are going to be on that land 24/7 while they're constructing. Like, these comrades are going to have 14, 16-hour days of construction, and we want to make sure that they aren't getting poisoned by their water, poisoned by the food, getting infections.
Not around her.
Nah, because we have a task at hand, and that requires our comrades to be healthy and in shape to do the task.
Woo! We have 408.
Y'all. We made our goal. We made our goal.
Y'all, keep donating. We at the half of this thing. Mm-hmm. We got 40 more minutes with y'all, yelling at y'all about revolution and education. And make sure to continue to donate. Y'all, you know what else we need for each and every hammer? And all y'all got to listen. Say we listening in the comments if you listening, y'all. We got, oh, Lord, y'all.
We got things.
Oh, Lord. Y'all, mama love you. But we is going, Hammer City will be in the wilderness, right? In the mountains, right? Well, we already have it, right? It's there. It is theirs. We have it. We liberated the land, and Colorado got bears. I just want to inform y'all that we will not be the only living animals in the area, and so each hammer needs bear spray. Okay, now do not worry. Our hounds will be strong enough to fend from the bears. But after a while of us living there, the bears kind of just leave humans alone after a while of like building things and stuff like that. But we will need, each and every hammer will need bear mace. And that stuff is expensive. That's also $39.99. And so there's cute ones you can just put on your belt and things like that. Because what I learned when we went to the wilderness stores, what we learned from this racist white man named actually mine was nice. Yours was kind of.
He was a racist man. The first thing he said to me is like, "See that camera and that."
That was your man. That wasn't my white man. The white man that was with our team. What was his name? Jared. Jared was kind. We went to Jared. Jared had tattoos, and Jared called us his homies.
Oh, I wonder why.
And Jared made some underhanded, sexually flirtatious comments about doing a Brokeback Mountain. Yeah. But anyways, Jared informed me that a bear ran up on him once and he put shots all up in that bear. And the bear kept running towards his ass. And he said, this is why you need bear mace. Because bear mace, what it does is, and do not use bear mace on a human being, you will be blinded. They'll be blinded. But bear mace basically makes the bear really like, what's going on? And just starts running around. You still got to run, baby. But you got to and run. But so anyways, y'all gonna need bear mace. So we gonna need some $40 donations for bear mace. Laying back. Woo, did Jared join the reparations corps?
Not yet.
Not yet, but Jared did inform us that bears eat you from the ass up. He did inform us about that.
They ass eaters.
Bears are ass eaters, the best of them.
I saw someone's the comments. They said bears or bears.
Who that? Mosley? Which one of these freaks out here?
No, that was T.
Oh, it's always T.
See, bears or bears.
Land back, y'all. Land back. We love our bears and we love our bears.
Period.
Okay. Period. So yeah, y'all. Make sure to share. Y'all share right now if y'all want us not to get eaten by bears. That is embarrassing. If we're like,
could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh my God! Just get swallowed up by that will never. Not on my watch.
That is embarrassing.
We will have the best natural, in harmony with the earth, bear deterrents. I will speak to them if I have to, but you will not.
Bear, I'm here to save you. Girl, I'm not like them. I'm not like them. It is embarrassing.
Not embarrassing. Y'all.
I love it here. I love Black Hammer. Do you love Black Hammer? Because I love Black Hammer. We've got to grow this organization. We got to get some more bears in this organization.
Wait, Akata said toss them strawberries. Yeah, I think we should get more bears up in the organization.
Toss them strawberries. Bears be tossing strawberries? You toss bears strawberries and they're okay?
I guess. We'll try. We'll try.
We'll try.
Akata, you'll try.
Diplomatic bear relations. We need an office. Who is going to be part of the diplomatic bear relations office? We need a meeting. I can't bear it. Y'all are annoying. Y'all are annoying. Land back, y'all. Okay, y'all. So thank you so much for the donations to keep this thing going. Land back, land Bizniak. Okay, so we're about to go back to the War of the Flea. And if you are just donated out, if you cannot donate no more, if you is broke now, this is when you, join the organization. But if you are not, if you already joined us, this is where you share more. Just share to more groups, share again groups, get really in there. You know, some of these groups know Black Hammer, and they come to me and they're like, Gazi, can you please tell your members to stop, like, what do they call it, spamming my group? My group page is for, what did she say? Indigenous food and indigenous clothes. And like, why are y'all talking about anti-colonialism so much? And I was like, she was like, there's no connection there. What? How is there no
Revolution
connection?
has nothing to do with indigenous food sovereignty? Say that again.
Can you wear your indigenous garbs to work, madame? Can you wear your indigenous garbs to court, madame? Can you, like?
But you know what would allow you to? Revolution, so you can have dictatorship over your own land again.
You have resources enough to even afford your indigenous garbs, madame. The masses of poor working class indigenous people don't even have the resources to dress and be in tune like so many of these TikTokers. I want you to know that, you know, people dressing up in their indigenous garb and stuff like that, like, that's a privilege. That's not something that is like.
Yeah, because so many indigenous people have unfortunately been severed from any like ancestral people who can create the actual garment that you want to wear. And two, it's very expensive, or like trying to source the materials that are needed are also a very rigorous thing to go up acquiring, like finding birds, hunting, walrus, whale, whatever it may be.
Bison gone.
Bison are gone. So
a lot of these things, you're right, is extinct now.
It's extinct, and so like having like these kinds of abilities, it's a huge thing in of itself. But to say that like revolution and wearing or indigenous clothing and food has no connection to revolution is very much incorrect. As you know, a Mapuche person, like revolution is how my people would be able to wear their clothing and learn language again, is through the freedom that a revolution would bring.
Land Bizniak, y'all. Land back, y'all. And that is actually really important because the next book we're going to be reading, but I'm not going to say it yet, but I'm going to give a hint. An indigenous woman, amazing woman, had and popularized a great statement, literally drawing the line between just like cultural performance and revolution, and that cultural performance is not a symptom of revolution. Cultural performance is a symptom of neocolonialism, and that the people need to be driven towards revolution to be truly liberated, rather than trying to do this like arbitrarily or while the colony exists. That she was saying that my ancestors want me more than anything to free the land and free my people than to do customs like they did. You know what I mean? Like, emphasis. But I'm not going to say who it is. Y'all say in the comments if you know who this amazing indigenous woman is. But
liberals love quoting her, but never actually put any kind of context into her. She won't like them.
Shagun, you got to get the book. It's in the bottom, the brown box, under the green box. Go look there. You see the book.
We got a library.
Now we is going to the next chapter. Now we is going to the next chapter. Is y'all having fun in the comments? Let us know if y'all having fun in the comments. So, SG. We about to go into this chapter 11. This is our last chapter. And it got a lot of marks, y'all. But I'm going to go through it as fast as I can. Okay, 175. 175. Other examples are even more clear. Batista could not make war on the Fidelistas without making war on the Cuban people. In the end, his resources proved inadequate to the task, and his regime collapsed. The French, seeking to retain the interest in Indochina and again in Algeria, took arms against terrorists and found themselves, in both instances, fighting losing battles against a rising tide of popular insurrection. In theory, they might have subjugated Algeria, as they had done more than a century earlier, by spending more money, employing vastly more military manpower, and adopting sterner methods. But were these means really available to them in 1962? For the reasons relating to the economy and internal situation of France and to the international situation as well, they were not, even had the means and the will existed. It remains in question whether the game would have been worth the candle. I wanted to read this specifically because it just lays out here in this chapter, which is called Guerrilla Movements in the Third World, the Revolutionary Base, Outlook of the United States, Proposals for a New American Foreign Policy in Latin America. He starts to get into here how, like, when the enemy is striking at the guerrillas, it really is striking at the people, which create more guerrillas, right? Like Ho Chi Minh would say that the greatest recruiter for the Vietnamese front was the Americans, was the Japanese, and were the French. That the continued napalming and destroying of these villages, and there was no even guerrilla there. And now you have people who you have murdered their children, their parents, their brothers, their sisters. You have taken their arm. You know what I mean? These people, now you have educated them into who you are and who these guerrillas are. And they go in joining from that pain and then are educated. So, like, yeah, land back. Did you want to say something about that before we move it?
No, I think you covered that. It's like, again, the guerrilla, and as revolutionaries, we can't see ourselves outside of the masses of people. You are them. You come from them. You speak like them. You look like them. You eat like them. You sleep like them. You can never remove yourself from them. And the second you do, you have failed not only yourself, your organization, but the people. You failed them immediately.
Woo! 176. Let me know if I skip your page, SD. Woo! 176, right there, in the United States. Go ahead.
In the United States of the last century, the government was able to crush the rebellious North American Indian tribes because the Indians had no political or economic leverage. They were an inconsequential minority, alien in every way to burgeoning white population, and what was wanted was their lands, not their labor, their trade, or their goodwill. Consequently, they could be exterminated wholesale at no appreciable cost. Indeed, it was economically and politically desirable that this be done, and it was done. Conditions have okay. So, yeah. And the reason why they didn't have any interest in the indigenous people of Turtle Island and their labor is because they imported Africans in slavery. This is why things are a little different than, say, like in Brazil. Brazil also utilized the indigenous population as a labor force in slavery alongside Africans. But in northern parts of Turtle Island, they exterminated all of the indigenous people because they just wanted the land. That was the value. There was no value in the labor that the colonists saw with the, indigenous people of Turtle Island. There was such, I would say, even a resistance. I don't feel like this white man's analysis is correct of the resistance that natives here in Turtle Island actually put up against the colonists. It was not easy for them to do so. But I think this white man, this colonizer, does get it correct in like the colonizer's understanding of the native. They had no interest in exploiting the labor. They had interest in taking the raw resources from the land and getting rich through that. They already had a labor force that they wanted to utilize for free, that it was less costly to import slaves than to wage wars against like the native nations. And in doing so, like, it was a political choice to then just exterminate the indigenous population here. It was more cost effective for them. As awful as that is to say about my own people, that this is what happened to Africans and indigenous people at the same time, and the colonizer required both of them for this settler colonial project to happen. And so this divisionism that comes from that historical moment of extermination and of slavery comes like this division, this divisionism that the state continually pushes on African and indigenous people, that we can't unite, that you're on my stolen land or this or that and blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't get people anywhere at all. And like this divisionism from that historical period is such a strong one to this day. Such a strong one to this day, that so many attacks on this organization come from that historical period, from this manifestation of genociding at minimum 100 million people, and at minimum stealing and selling 60 million Africans. That historical connection is such a huge driving factor to divisionism today, and why we push for colonized unity.
Land back. Land back. I want to don't highlight the comment because it's stupid, but I will read it. Because there's this thing about like trying to criticize Black Camera Organization because we bought the land. People will say, this person wrote, Black Camera Organization is buying land under colonial laws. First, I want to pause there. Bitch, how else are we supposed to get it? Bitch, how you got that fucking clothes on your back? Bitch, how you fill up your tank? Bitch, how you have a cell phone? So you do colonial laws your whole fucking life for everything that you have gotten, but we're supposed to get the land how other way, bitch? We just read this whole book, you dumb bitch, about not being adventurous. We're supposed to go and seize it by gunpoint, you dumb bitch? Did this book not just lay out not to be adventurous? So how else are we supposed to obtain the land? Let me tell you how we obtained the land. We did not obtain the land by just saying, this is how we have the money, by going and knocking on doors and getting the collective votes of poor and working class colonized people through resources to liberate that land. To liberate that land. And that is now under the dictatorship of the Black Hammer Organization. So everything else you got from here is from this exchange. Just once, unless you steal everything. Unless you steal everything. Don't talk to me or this organization, try to criticize this organization for purchasing land and liberating it through that means. Whichever way we got it, bitch, and you don't got land. So these other organizations and individuals don't want to say anything. Bitch, but you don't got shit.
Right, and like literally this whole book laid out that premature terrorism or adventurism will alienate you from the masses and completely crush any possibility of a revolution, was what happened with the Greeks, that they prematurely showed military force seizing property, and it was crushed by the state, and in return crushed all inspiration to the masses of people. What do we look like trying to seize 200 acres of land prematurely and then have our whole organization crushed and killed?
Go do it. Y'all go do it. Go do it. Just like Elaine Brown said, when you see dumb adventurers, tell them, oh, you want to do that? Go do it. I'll watch you. Okay? Anyways, the next part of this is that I want to break down, because this is dumb shit too. I'm sorry, y'all. I just call it like I see it. Hold on. But how are we keeping Black land trust from being bought, sold off? Other activists are working. Which land? No land on Turtle Island is in Africans. My land is in Africa. My land is in Africa. Unless you are African and indigenous and you have, those ancestor connections, then yeah, but I'm an African 100%. That I know, and I'm going to go with that. I'm fine with it. My land is Africa, the continent. So as we're going to liberate African land from these neo-colonials, the same way we got Hammer City. As of now. But anyways, and this land trust from like this, what? So you are saying that we as an organization should validate the colonizer who stole the freaking land from this genocide we just read of over 200 million people being murdered. We're supposed to acknowledge that when the white man said, oh, here is some of it to Black people, and say, oh, thank you, master, for this blood land of indigenous people. No, I don't want that land if that land means disunity against my indigenous brothers and sisters and siblings.
And you seem to be forgetting that this land is going to indigenous leadership. People whose home is Turtle Island get to have dictatorship over this. This is their ancestral land. This is our indigenous people ancestral land. There is no... This idea that you're bringing up a contradiction, all revolutions had these kinds of contradictions. We're trying to live and see another day. Mm-hmm. And it's very disingenuous for you to be saying, like, we're operating under colonial law, but you're just announcing you flew out to San Francisco during a pandemic to go vote to lower the voting age to 16.
This bitch whole life is paid off by being a trauma porn star for white people. Sorry, but that's what it is. And if that brings you to do something, then please do it. Hurry. Please be clean about it, though. But anyway.
Yeah, like.
Lay it back. I pray for sick. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll spit all over the place. I pray for mental illness. I pray for it to be liberated. I pray for it to be liberated. Land back, y'all. So we gonna go to
exactly. And this land belongs to all species that participate in the biosphere.
Shabbat.
Exactly. This land isn't just ours. We share it with the rest of the planet itself. And to think...
That's why we're not killing the bears. Even though the bears want to kill us.
We ain't killing nothing. None of that.
We understand why the bears is kind of angry, right? We understand. Mm-hmm. If I was a bear, I'd be eating every human I see too. So we do have to reintroduce ourselves.
And ask and speak to the land and like pray to it, respect it, and love it. And the land will do the same back to us.
Land back. I really appreciate this conversation, everybody. Land back. But I think that's really important because if y'all have not been paying attention recently in the news, they want to turn DC into a state, and they want to name the state of DC after Frederick Douglass. So they're going to call it the Washington Douglass Commonwealth, is it?
The Douglass Commonwealth. What are we, a monarchy?
The Douglass Commonwealth. I want y'all, like, and as African and as African people, we have to say, no, we do not want a chunk of this stolen land to be named after any of us. Like, it was like so bog-minding to me that y'all literally think that Harriet Tubman wants to be put on a $20 bill.
For this country?
Like, and y'all fight for that. Stop that. Stop that. And that is disgusting. That is disgusting. That project, that vote, it is disgusting. Take our names off of it. Keep the names of these states white so it is very clear of who is doing this carnage. Anyways, y'all, we're going to move it. To page 78. Many, if not most, of the new African nations remain within the Western orbit temporarily. That is to say, they are under the political and economic influence or control of their former colonial rulers or of the Western industrial bloc taken as a whole. Their governments are favorable for the time being to arrangements which permit the continued exploitation by the industrial West of their natural and human resources. In other parts of the continent, Angola, Union of South Africa, Rhodesia, white colonialist minorities still rule. Y'all hear that? White man just told y'all that all these puppet goddamn leaders are just there to sustain that relationship it had before. Colonialism didn't go nowhere. Can we say colonialism ain't going no? No, wait, no. I want to make sure. Colonialism is still here. Put that in the comments. Colonialism is still here. Because I'm tired of people talking about colonialism like
as it's in the past. it didn't end. It didn't end. And I think sometimes too, Marxist Leninists really confuse like where we are in this historical stage. Like it's colonialism, and now what we're seeing is a manifestation of imperialism in the form of neocolonialism. It come back to neocolonialism. The imperialist part was when they were fighting during the world wars. The neocolonialism, the higher stage of that, came out after these world wars.
Mm-hmm.
We still in colonialism, y'all. Colonialism is still the root contradiction of the colonized people of the world. It is not capitalism. White people found out capitalism was bad 200 years ago. Us as colonized people found out capitalism was bad 600 years ago.
Day one.
Day one. We met it with a barrel of the gun. That nasty rat, Christopher Columbus, that arrived on an island. That was the day we met what capitalism would be. And it has never changed for us since.
To today, of an African girl's bones being used in an Ivy League school.
To study. That is literally what they did when these Ivy League schools were built. The same thing. Oh, I'm gonna crush it.
Y'all, oh Lord. Without exception, without exception, it seems safe to say that revolution spreading like a subterranean fire by means of guerrilla warfare is not merely a possibility, but a virtual certainty. As the primitive Black people, who are the vast majority in Africa, emerging from tribalism and peonage, discover that they can be neither ruled or exploited without their consent. Without your consent, nobody can exploit you. Without your consent, you have the power to resist. That's what we inform people. Y'all, listen to this. I need y'all to listen. Hammers, listen up. What applies to Black Africa applies also to much of Asia. And the Arab lands. And the vastly greater importance to the United States, to almost all Latin America. The underdeveloped countries that occupy 3/4 of the globe. Underdeveloped is an euphemism contained by far the bulk of the world's as yet unexploited natural resources, the raw materials of industry. Thus, they are the prizes of which the industrialized quarter contends. White power, Europe. Yet, these same backward areas also contain the greater part of the world's population, the hungriest part, growing at a rate that far outstrips their rate of economic growth, needing, wanting, demanding more with every passing year. How will the burgeoning population, growing hungrier and at the same time more aware by day of the extent of the world's wealth, be kept under control once it has learned. And it is learning very rapidly the lessons of guerrilla warfare. It cannot. Colonial or native armies. We're gonna stop there. Land back, y'all. Powerful. It's almost like colonized people all over the world are natural allies against this white-powered colonial system and white people. Do you understand what this man is saying? He is laying it out which people are the oppressed and which people are the oppressors. Not just the system, not just the one person, not just the white ruling class, but the white nation. These white people are still Europeans. I don't know why y'all keep calling them American. They're Europeans. Call them what they is, a European invasion. Or I like to call them European. Put European in the comments. Put European in the comments. Tomorrow's guerrilla armies in Africa and Asia and Latin America will be drawn from the ranks of the world's have-nots, the hungry peasants and the urban slum dwellers who meet the first requirement of guerrilla having nothing to lose but their lives. I ain't been lying to you.
Not once.
I ain't been lying to you.
Not once.
This is the road. This is the way. Our unity is colonized people. And if you thought for a second that that was not the road or the way, and our unity was not powerful, our unity was not the thing that they fear the most. Our unity is not the thing that they can't even try to stand up against. Do you understand that if the state of the United States of America attacks Black Hammer organization outrightly, they have made a strike on all colonized people? Not just Black people are going to be riled up that Black Hammer is being attacked. Indigenous people are going to be riled up. Asian people are going to be riled up. Arab people, Indian people, Filipino people. The Aboriginal, the original people of Australia. And you are going to have to face the masses of all those people, White man. You feel me? That's where the power really, really lies, in us. It is not the colonized, poor colonizers. This man did not lay out anything about poor white people rising up, not once in this whole book. He is writing to white power to live and thrive, and he is saying the greatest enemy. He did not say white workers of America are going to come, white workers of Europe are going to come at you. He did not say that.
And the one European, or the two European white people who tried their insurrection failed.
Shut up!
They failed very quickly. The Greeks and the Irish both failed. They both failed.
And USSR
also failed. And it failed because it didn't address the colonial contradiction. And where it had addressed the colonial contradiction, it might have survived. But it's no coincidence that China, Vietnam, Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Bolivia, and so many other countries, colonized countries that had successful communist revolutions, are around. And the white ones are not. It's not a coincidence that we are still around and persist, and the white nation's form of communism did not survive longer than not even 100 years.
And that's why we are anti-colonial communists. Everybody say, we are anti-colonial communists. Because you can be anti-colonial and a capitalist, right? You could be and you could be communist
and be colonial. It happened. Like the whole Soviet Union at their second international, whatever, tried voting for socialist colonialism. At one point, this whole entire European socialist bloc voted for socialist colonialism. I don't understand what's hard for white people to understand. That's it. And that's why being anti-colonial is more important than the communist part. Being anti-colonial will give us the right to self-determination. The communism addresses the class contradiction within our own nation.
Because we've got to fight the white nation at the same fighting our class enemy. Shabbat. Woo! Powerful. Point number 3. Coming out clearly. All right, SG, read 180. If technological. Read that chapter to the people.
If technological superiority could defeat guerrillas, the war in South Vietnam would have been long over. At this writing, the United States is spending at the rate of nearly $2 million daily. All the money it can usefully spend in the area. And the war is being lost. It is being lost to a poorly armed, numerically inferior enemy because mere technological wealth, translated into arms, aircraft, armor, military supplies, is not enough to defeat popular forces employing guerrilla tactics on their own familiar and friendly terrain.
Keep going, girl.
The Pentagon could easily afford to commit 10 or 20 times the number of aircraft and 100 times the armor, artillery, rockets, napalm, and other weaponry presently being employed in South Vietnam. It does not do so, primarily because the targets of more weapons, more bombs, more napalm do not exist. Short of bombing South Vietnam off the map, There is no employment for more bombs than the number now being used. Short of destroying all Vietnamese villages, there is no need for more napalm. Short of machine gunning the Vietnamese peasantry en masse, there is no way to use more machine guns because the Viet Cong against whom they might be used will not stand up and be shot. To catch guerrillas requires overwhelming military manpower. For valid political reasons, the apathy and indifference of the normally pro-Saigon Vietnamese, the American reluctance to commit substantial numbers of American troops, the manpower needed to hunt down and exterminate the Viet Cong simply has not been available.
Break it down to them. Get big. Break it down to them.
Big, y'all. So, see, there is a critical mass point for our enemy because there's only a certain level of people that they can indiscriminately kill before they kill all of us, and we are what uphold their state. Ooh. We, as colonized people, are the labor force that keep their machines running. We are the ones tilling the land, mining the metals, working the factories, working the farms. You can't kill us. You cannot actually kill all of us, and because the gorilla is no different than a normal human being, except we're political agitators, there is no way for the military to keep increasing its presence and its size. It will only cut away at itself, and because of the tactics of the gorilla, all that equipment you're bringing in is going to be mine.
Y'all.
Which equalizes the playing field to the ultimate goal of guerrilla warfare is to then have a military that is of conventional size to take on the governmental army and completely crush it. So when you bring in more military equipment and you're not able to kill any more people and the enemy isn't ever more present, you're just supplying us, the revolutionaries, with more and more and more, and you are cutting away at yourself day by day, death by death.
Period, y'all. Woo, child, things are gonna get easier because of revolution. Y'all, it is so important. Oh, that song was actually written by Black Cop. But anyway, it's so crazy because George W. Bush Jr. said when they asked him why immigrants were so important to him, and he said because they're good for the economy. They said why? He said because you don't see people who look like me lining up to get a job to tile rooftops in under 100-degree weather. Ooh. He's showing you white people are not the working class. There's no such thing as the white working class. Who is lining up to do that? Colonized people, indigenous people, because of the severe poverty that is plaguing us.
It's kind of like now, because of the detainment of indigenous people at the border, a lot of these farms don't have slave labor anymore. You don't see poor white people lining up to go take those jobs. And I wonder why. And it's because they aren't actually of the working class that isn't in their range. It's like, oh, there's a farm job, let me go take it. Nah.
That's not a job for white.
That's not a job for people. And white people know that. That's why they're not going out and getting it.
They will send meth addict Jared, who has been to jail 15 times and has 26 baby mamas. You feel me? On this low. They'll set him up, this program, right? A rehabilitation program, would set Jared up with a job like that. Jared would work on that farm for a week and a half, and then he will get, hey, brother man, there's a promotion I want to give you. Do you think little Jared White man is going to be staying? Do you not think he's working amongst colonized indigenous people who have been working this job for 15 years? And little Jared White man is like, oh, wait, we gotta fix this. Anyways, page 183. That's why we call them the white whipping class. They don't give Jared the job of whipping because they think Jared is amazing and bright and da-da-da. That is the system fixing itself because Jared should never have that job in the first place. You know what a white woman's poverty job is? Retail. Do you know
I'm impoverished.
What a comfortable job for colonized people is? Retail. Girl, when I worked retail, in Atlanta, when I got my retail job, working at Feather 21, I was a bad bitch. You feel me? Like, you couldn't tell me nothing, girl. I was up there with the CNA.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? That's the tier within our colonized community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the retail and the CNA girls, we won. Anyways, land back. Ooh, poverty does not of itself engender revolution, but poverty side by side with progress creates a new amalgam. The hope of social change stimulated by even a little education produces a new social phenomenon. The ambitious poor, the rebellious poor, the cadres of the revolution who have nothing to lose and see much to gain around them. Without a clearly articulated cause, without forceful and persuasive leaders, without political organization, generations of slum dwellers have lived and died in misery. Generations of peasants have scratched the soil, and there have been few real revolutions. This is why they attack leadership so much. This is why they attack organizations so much, discipline so much. All we're supposed to care about is ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our healing circles, our space, ourselves, self-care. Everything's about me. Everything that is criticizing me is toxic. Oh, I need trigger warnings. Me. Identity, politics, me. Intersectionality is about me. To guide you and take you. Oh, and anybody trying to tell me what to do? This is COINTELPRO to design you into being somebody that can only be organized by white power and not by your own people for your own material interest and gains, to attack leadership, to attack organization. And you see what happens with a people that have no leadership and organization. They die and live miserably. Generations and generations, because the marriage does not exist. There is a divorce between the people and its true leadership. All right, next I want to read. 184. Go ahead.
There has been, along with the population explosion, a revolution of communications, and out of it has come what has been aptly described as the revolution of rising expectations. Mm-hmm. In Rio, a forest of television antennae raise over the favelas. The slum dwellers are bitterly poor, but not so poor as to lack the means to see the industrial progress and affluence that surrounds them. Not so poor as to understand that promises are being made to them, political programs invoked in their name, and to begin to stir with impatience for the day when the promises will be filled. In the labor barracks of the Brazilian Northwest, radio brings the message of the Cuban Revolution, of fighting in Vietnam and the Congo, of riots in Panama and Harlem. The plantation workers are poor, but not too poor to know what other men like themselves are doing and how they are setting about it and with what results.
Take it there.
Our connection in this world has never been so strong, ever. Is that this book was written in the 60s.
I knew she was going to get it. I didn't tell her to connect it to the internet, but she got it. I knew she was going to get it.
And their connection, like this was written in the 60s, and they're talking about the fucking radio. None of us do that anymore. But already with just the radio, we're able to inspire thousands of colonized organizations around the world. Like, that's what they're doing, and that's how they got success. The radio didn't lay out, this is what tactic and strategy they use. The radio said these guerrillas united under this principle of unity, and this is how they're moving to get it. That's the information they got. But with us in the 21st century, in 2021, we have something that dwarfs the radio, dwarfs anything, any form of communication the radio could have ever given. And it is this, us speaking to you now, speaking to thousands of people around the world about revolution, connecting what we're doing to the rest of the global revolutionary struggle, placing ourselves contextually in presence for other colonized people around the world to understand what we're doing. And because of that, we have had and made chapters all over the continent of Africa, all over the continent of South America, all over the Caribbean, all over Asia, through the internet.
Period.
Through explaining through communications like this, we have been able to plant ourselves not just here in Turtle Island, but around the world, and that you cannot crush us now.
Never.
You will never be able to defeat the Black Hammer organization.
And that leads me to the next read. Now, the prior books do talk about the importance of what they title Latin America. We know as Pachamama and Turtle Island. I would like and hope that all Hammers really read that. It talks about Brazil, to our Brazil chapter. Chief I membership. If you're listening, say membership in the building. If you're membership in the building, say membership in the building. If you work membership in the building, please make sure that our Brazil chapter, our Costa Rica chapter, our Mexico chapter, read those pages about the significance of indigenous revolution happening in Pachamama and in Turtle Island. Because this man broke it down to the science, to numbers that now are in the billions.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, the United States Economic Center is not Africa, but South America. Europe has so does the United States. We got AFRICOM. But the main source of raw resources.
They have AFRICOM. We don't have AFRICOM.
We don't have AFRICOM. They have AFRICOM. Is in Pachamama. And Pachamama feeds the world. Venezuela specifically feeds the world, has enough produce that it provides to every single continent of the world. All of this eco-capitalism that's going to require lithium comes from South America. And so having revolutionary movement within Pachamama is absolutely crucial, incredibly crucial. And that's why they crushed it back in the 70s, utilizing Mormon Christians and missionaries paired with the CIA to overthrow governments and the mistakes of guerrilla movements within it to crush the revolutionary dream. But Bolivia, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba are keeping that dream alive today. And I want to say the United States just lost 2 wars, one in Venezuela and one in Bolivia. They thought they had Bolivia, but they only had it for 9 months. And then it was back into control of the people.
Period. Land back with a freaking coup in Bolivia that didn't even last a year, y'all. Shout out to the people of Bolivia. Rising the freak up. But we understand that borders, right, are not, it's something for working class people. Borders are not real to the bourgeoisie, right? So when we say America's resources come from South America, but the white ruling class do not work as I only engage in the state and get resources from South America. You know what I mean? Because what's his name with Telsa? What's his name?
Elongated.
I keep forgetting. Right? He, is a white ruling classer that has the ability to manipulate the state, the white powered state that has dictatorship over the land, lives, labor, and resources of the world, to use the resources of the world as his oyster. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Is that Bill Gates does not work around the world as an American and only has control over the American government, right? Bill Gates has ties and connections and moves in the United Kingdom, has moves in Australia, and has moves all up in Africa, and has moves all up in South America, the whole thing, because it is dominated by this white power globe thing. So we've got to get out of thinking of just the border situation, because for the white ruling class, the world is their oyster, and they will eat from any which point of the carcass of us as they wish or are willing to at that time, or needing to at that time, right? Elon Musk got his resources primarily from Africa at a certain point, and now is engaging in a war, right, in a coup of Bolivia so he could get lithium, because he needs these different parts. And when you look at the world, you see that the world has all these different parts to make things that you need. And it's like they're shopping at Walmart. So for you, he can't be oh, well, this aisle is only tackled more by Americans than this aisle, right? All these aisles is theirs. All these aisles is theirs. And the American military is not a military that just works for American interests. The American military works for the European interest as well. That's why there are over 200 military bases in Africa. But those resources, those oils and all that kind of stuff goes to Europe, right? Those materials go to Europe to stay, and America stays there. Why does America do that? Because it is the chieftain of white power imperialism, and it makes bread that way, and it controls that way, because the EU got to move the way America moves, because the EU don't have the military capacity that America has to dominate those colonized regions that they have around the world to loot their resources. America does that. So when America say we going left, EU has to say we going left. You understand it? As the hegemony. So they will rain violence on all of us to sustain that. That is their power. That is their antennas and their tentacles, and we have to fight them from all of their tentacles, and they are weakening. That's why the United States was in the Middle East so strong, because they took that as their region of exploitation. But they also shared it with the UK and British Petroleum. You know, that they will have those friendly deals amongst themselves of who gets what carcass and how it interchanges and moves everywhere. And we at Black Hammer have to say, 1 gram is too much of any of our resources. And 1 drop of sweat from our colonized poor working class labor is too much to be given to this system. You understand me? We've got to see it as this one united world thing of white power that is united against us. And the only reason they have those borders, is to divide which resources go where, to their one nation. Because their one nation is a big nation and needs resources everywhere. And I want to lead that to this next part that I'm going to read that is so important. It's at the bottom of 187, y'all. True dictatorial governments can be bolstered by military and economic aid. Cooperation can be obtained by bribes and economic coercion. Incipient guerrilla movements can be stomped out before they begin. The first larval stage is indeed the only stage at which they can be stomped out. But conditions remaining the same, others are certain to arise. And then I want to scroll down to revolution. The third and most radical step and the hardest would be simply to embrace the revolution. He's talking to the white ruling class right now. He's pleading to them. Revolution cannot be suppressed. It may be channeled. Does it not make sense to seek the channel it in the least damaged, most hopeful direction? This was written in the 50s and published in 1965. This is why we see Barack Hussein Obama. You understand? This is why they make it look like the revolution is on the side of imperialism. That the real changes of people gaining power is a Kamala Harris. That they are in this liberal state, but this liberal state is stressing them to this point that the white ruling class to this day is saying, F the liberal state, we've got to get savage with tearing it down. But I also want to state how he lays out. The first larval stage is the only stage that you can squash out a revolution. And Black Hammer is past that larval stage. So it is done. Say it is done in the comments.
Done. It's a done deal. You're dead.
It is done. It is done. The next one, we're going to go through this fast because we're about to end it. But like, I'm trying to see if I'm going to end this one. Go here. Tomorrow or next year?
190.
On 190.
Tomorrow or next year or the year after that, similar choices will present themselves. They are already indicated in one or more of the countries of the hemisphere that North Americans still consider to be theirs. The revolution certainly will not stop with one country or a few.
Woo!
The entire undeveloped third world is in transition, and it is all moving in the same direction under the multiple pressures of economic, social, and political necessity. The United States can make the accommodation that it must make with the forces of revolution, or it can, in the end, be destroyed. To take the course of accommodation will not be merely to acquiesce to the inevitable, but to declare a partnership with it. That means to declare diplomatic and economic war on the Latin American oligarchies as we have declared war on Cuba, and to break with those governments strong enough to resist or retaliate. To actively assist revolutionary groups expediently selected with arms and funds and advisors, acting on the premise that if our present military aid program for military dictatorships, our advisors, quote, in South Vietnam, or our weapon drops in the escrambre of our pigs invasion can be sanctioned under international law or morally justified in violation of it, better and more expedient causes can be even better justified.
So y'all, I hear people be like, oh, well, the CIA made ISIS and the CIA made the Taliban. Didn't make them, first and foremost. They were organizations that were and groups of people that were already forming. As you see here, what they will do is they will pinpoint revolutionary movements and see which ones that they could use to be for them, right? And then they will assist these people to taking over, right? As long as they continue that relationship, just like he stated in the book, that Africa has to the Western powers. As long as you sustain that relationship, you can be revolution all you want, but once you break that, right? That's why they were a friend, right, to Saddam Hussein, before Saddam Hussein decided to sever that oppressive relationship of giving all their resources to America like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then he's a revolutionary that got to be taken out. Oh, keep going. We about to end it.
To openly proclaim the United States a champion of revolution so as to steal the thunder of Moscow and Peking, and to offer the emerging third world a viable alternative to Marxist-Leninist totalitarianism on one end, and Western imperialism, quote, styled free world leadership on the other.
Boom. That's what you've been seeing with America's the police of the world. We're fighting for freedoms over there, freedoms over here, freedoms everywhere. America is so obsessed with defending freedom, acting like a revolutionary. America, the United States of America, is known around the world, or is trying to be known around the world as the nation that defends democracy and freedom, and
liberty and justice
for the people. This is where America gets its quote unquote revolutionary characteristics. Oh, Lord.
And you'll start seeing puppets pop up in the form of Bernie Sanders, AOC, the squad, to start giving you little concessions of like progressivism as a way to like further take control of a possible revolutionary situation, to give some semblance like, no, we care for the people. And that's why I'm seeing them push up in the forefront of the progressive part of this government.
Period.
It's because they see what's coming and they want to slow it down by giving some kind of concession of BIPOC running the government.
BIPOC. All right, y'all. The last, you are so funny, Cher, because Teray said, hot take, B11 CIA. Cher said, Teray, that's a cold take. We've been new. Yes.
Been new.
Lay it back. I'm going to read this last paragraph of The World of Flea. I want everybody just to close your eyes while I read this. It is so important. On the one hand, progress, prosperity, and security. On the other, certain disaster. There is only one outcome to guerrilla war, and that is revolution. And there's only one remedy, and that is peace. Some will call it surrender. If so, it is the surrender of force to reason, based on the understanding that no people can be subdued or kept in subjugation who do not accept defeat. Laying back, I just think, wow. So like, he's making this plea to the white ruling class, but he's doing it not in this subjective way of like, just free these people. This is horrible what's happening to them. He doesn't make that argument at all. He makes that argument as a white person that also wants to see this white power imperialism, this colonialism succeed in some, continue in some fashion, because he sees that he eats off of it. And he says the way we are going about this, right? it's bad, not because it's being horrible to these other people. It's bad because they're going to win. If we continue to do this, they're going to fight us and beat us, and we can't win. He's just letting them know you can't win against this. You can't win against a worldwide revolution of poor working class colonized people. So please do this neo-colonial dance. And this was in 1965. And all you've seen thus forth is a neo-colonial liberal dance. And he lays out here, though, when he's saying that he don't know he's saying this is what he's saying. This shit pop off, we gotta surrender.
There's no other choice.
There is no other choice. He's laying this out scientifically, and he's laying this out throughout this whole book. So this is not a book to us. This is a book to the white ruling class. You understand? This is a book to the billionaires and trillionaires that run the state apparatus. This is a book for not even for the generals of what they need to do better, or not the politicians, what they need to do better. It's like straight up. This shit, if they the ones that got the W, we are holding tight on this L. This L is tattooed to our ass. And we need to start moving like that. And just giving them this here and that here and some land here and some, like, let them at least eat something, right? But I want to say white power for the most part has followed this.
And actually, I think...
But hold on. They have followed this. But look where they are now in 2021. It still has been, because this was not good enough for us. What he thought would be good enough for us, representation, you know what I mean? These false promises, welfare, this Mugaksai, say the name? Mugaksai-ism. It did put the people to sleep for a bit. It did confuse a lot of people around the world for a bit. But you can't fool the people forever. You cannot fool the people forever. And look at the crises that the United States of America is in right now. That it is retreating from Afghanistan and Iraq. That it is giving concessions to African people here by letting off this freaking cop. By giving concessions to African and Asian people by giving us a Kamala Harris. By Biden giving us stimmy checks. Like all of these things, right? By saying like, okay, yeah, the cops are bad, this. And it's not saving them, not one bit. Not one bit. The jig is up.
I also think this part reminds me of an article that you recently shared from Foreign Affairs about how they're directing, like the white ruling class is directing itself, and they made a mistake. They said, go full colonial again. Stop being shy with what we're doing. And this book just laid out, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be so colonial anymore. Accept that you are going to lose. Bargain with them so our white power project can still continue in some semblance. Because if you continue on this 100% colonial, we will be crushed indefinitely, inevitably. But we just know in 2021 that the state's been making a lot of mistakes. And I think this is another. They're telling the white ruling class, the white whipping class too, to be proud of colonialism, to be proud of the bombs being dropped. And this is sealing the deal for itself yet again.
Laying back. I want to say it like, the tactics of an abuser is so it can continue abuse, right? So we've had abusers. Abusers are not always 100% violent and mean and destructive towards you, right? Most of the time you met your abuser, them being kind and liberal. And so this is like saying, okay, now be then be hi. now be then be hi. And they're going from hi, like literally they just had Obama hi, then went back to Trump for 4 years. No, actually go hi with Biden, and then Biden hasn't even been president for 100 days. They're like, go back to like the abuser is in this place of it can't trick you with the kindness, it can't put fear in you with the meanness, and it is on the back step. Shabbat. You understand what I'm trying to say? Liberal or conservative are just both abusive tactics to continue your abuse through either fear or manipulation. But both to make sure that you concede to its oppression, that you stay in the relationship. Either by fear from the conservatives or by manipulation and sweet and honey with the Democrats and AOC. But to continue keeping you chained and bonded and beaten and abused. Wolves and foxes. But the jig is up. Say the jig is up in the comments. Jig is up. Land back, y'all. That was our book trap, our final chapter. I hope y'all have learned the true science of what it means to be a servant to the people, to what it means to be a freedom fighter. I hope that this informs you of the organization you are in. I hope this informs you of your next step. I hope this informs you of your past steps that you made that were good. And I hope this informs you of the past steps that you made that were incorrect and that needed to be criticized. And now you understand why we criticize it so sharply. I hope you understand why we push for professionalism. I hope you understand why we push for discipline. I hope you understand why we push for democratic centralism. I hope you understand why we push against adventurism, against anarchism. He did not say that anarchy was coming and be scared of the anarchists. He didn't say that. Did he say that?
No, not once. Not once. He didn't. He said instead, anti-colonial communist revolution is what's coming. And it can't be stopped. That y'all slowed it down in the 20th century, but that didn't stop nothing.
But the anarchists say they're going to end all this. Why he didn't write that for him?
It's because you can't win against an organized power with individualism.
But he did talk about some of the communist orgs that took anarchistic tendencies, and that's why they failed, and that's why anarchism fails. It's a scientific thing, baby girl. You got it wrong. It's okay. Woo!
Nothing personal. You're just wrong.
Close it out, SG. This was your first time reading this book, and I want let the people know what transpired in you the most, and we're gonna close it out with that with a perfect 2 hours and 30 minutes. But one last plug for Hammer City when you're done.
All right. Well, yeah, this was my first time reading this, and I think I'm ready to continue leading as your Secretary General. This is what this has taught me: is that I am in this position as your SG, and I feel honored to be in it, and now I feel more equipped and more armed to do so, like in a way that I don't think I knew before I read this book. This book is completely transformative in my understanding of revolution. Is that prior to being in Black Hammer, revolution was taught to me through white people in a very convoluted, clouded, general kind of thing. But this, and in Black Hammer, it's clear to me what the task is as a revolutionary. And it's inspired to the people what is around the corner, what is going to be. And again, this to me has further solidified I want to be the Secretary General of Black Hammer, and I want to be a revolutionary for the people, and that I'm committed. I'm committed to organization and revolution. And I ain't going no fucking where.
You committed, Hammers? Have you been committed even stronger from reading this? You understand? They be all like, oh, Gazi crazy and the Black Hammer organization crazy. I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all so weird. Y'all so y'all all over the place. I don't understand what Black Hammer is doing, but Black Hammer is building better than them, and they don't understand. But what I needed Hammers in this organization to understand is the science. Now, from reading this, was it exposed how stupid they are?
Yes. So stupid. Like, they don't even really know what they're doing. Is that you are going under liberal tactics purely. You aren't going out there with an objective, a goal, an end. And every time y'all get locked up, killed, brutalized, kidnapped, or assassinated, you just destroy any kind of like inspiration you maybe would have given the people, further delaying liberation. And that's why we see you as an enemy.
Period. And he actually talked about revolutionary or communist movements in the white thing, and he called y'all dogmatic. And that all y'all do is just argue over points and
Theories and this
period.
and that.
So one more push for Hammer City.
Let's do it.
I hope that this informs you of what we've got to do and why we do what we do. Who up in here got $4 more to donate to Hammer City? We are at 408. But I believe that we could get to 500.
I think so too.
I believe we can get to 500. Y'all better share, or donate $4 right now.
Let's get those donations coming through, y'all. $500 gets us a lot. That is enough food for about a month for the comrades that will be out on the land. So if y'all can get that much money raised, you can get your comrades fed. That again, like I said, are going to be working 16 hours a day, building homes for the people. So let's get it up. We got $16 more. We got another $4 from Shagun, another $4 from Colibri.
Let's hear something comes that's expensive.
Look at these. This is a nice sleeping bag that's going to keep our comrades warm in negative degrees up on top of a 10,000-foot mountain. So we want more quality for comrades so that when they're out there, they're sleeping comfortable and we don't got to deal with hypothermia, frostbite, none of that. Because I don't know if y'all have been on a mountaintop at 10,000 feet at night, but it is not warm. It is not always warm on the top of the mountain. And so having these nice sleeping bags for $40 each are able to shelter our comrades that will be able to keep building day by day, hour by hour. So please, let's get these more donations coming through. We got another $4.
Expensive thing.
Another thing.
Explain it to the SG.
So here, this thing. This is the single power source for all of the comrades that will be on the land. This is a solar power generator. Because one, we ain't trying to be reliant on the state's fuel and blood oil. And two is we don't have enormous energy needs. It's that the solar panel connects to the back. You leave it out in the sun, and it is able to charge your laptop and your cell phones and all that kind of stuff that you will need just for some basic communication up on the land. It ain't gonna be some industrial powerhouse, and it's not what we're trying to do. So please donate so we can get a little bit more of these. The more of these little generators that we're able to get, the more comrades we are able to support.
Solar. Land back. Ooh, is she heavy? How much was this?
That was $200.
That's just $200.
Plus $100 solar panel. So please,
$300.
$300 for one of that, but that has enough power to take care of up to 25 people.
What? 25 people, you said.
25 people. So please donate, because the more supplies that we can get, the more we can support the comrades that will be working very, very hard to build these houses, to build our schools, to build the club.
Period.
And whatever
Hammer City Club. DJ's gonna be mushrooms. Anyways, y'all. Oh, but no, mushrooms make music. I'm not talking about tripping on them. Anyways, all right, y'all. So we're gonna announce the next book, and then while Oju is calculating the numbers, SG, let them know about the book we're about to read now.
So next week we will be reading From a Native Daughter. So this is about the sovereignty of Hawaii and the contradictions of colonialism as it manifested on their island. Is that there was a kingdom that was illegally overthrown by the colonizers and then turned into a tourist colony where the indigenous people of Hawaii are subjugated to terror, poverty, disease, and all the other disgusting symptoms of colonialism. And we're going to go in. And I'm sure y'all have seen some of her videos and her speeches before.
Amazing sister.
She is an absolutely amazing indigenous revolutionary that is fighting for the sovereignty of her land. Her name is Haunani K. Trask. I'm also self-critical to this comrade for getting your name not correct. And, if someone could teach me how to say it correctly, I will do so forever.
Forever. Land back, y'all.
And our host for the book is going to be Chief Itza and Chief Frederico, and y'all are going to absolutely love their takes and their rundowns of this book. It's going to be absolutely amazing for us to start understanding the struggle of people who are on islands and recognizing that colonialism, if there is land and if there is an indigenous population, will try and crush, kill, and destroy. And learning about the resistance to that is always inspirational.
And we have raised, drum roll please, $442.
Yes! Land bag.
That's enough for a generator and
that's a generator and 2 sleeping bags for comrades. So that is literally 40 people you have just provided power for, and even more sleeping bags for more comrades to make sure that they can get frostbite up on that mountain.
Period. Y'all, make sure your white friends is paying reparations so we can get more of these resources for our hammers and the people that are going to come living in Hammer City for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to go to announcements now. Now. We got to go back.
So next.
Keep going back. Here we go.
So first, white people, please go to our reparation corps. This is going to be a boot camp for you to understand how the white nation and the European identity was constructed from a plague, and why you materially benefit from colonialism. Even if all of your little ifs, yes, you still benefit from colonialism. And we want to lay it out to you because we want you to understand that you should stop having genocide in your name.
Yes.
And you should want to the new world where whiteness and European identity do not exist. And for y'all white people to pay reparations to build an anti-colonial revolutionary movement that will create a world where we don't live at the expense of another. So white people, please sign up for our reparation corps. Make this cool little logo that you can put in your bio, all that kind of stuff. And share around to the white people you know.
Laying back because it should not be us raising all this dang money. You should be in your white community getting more of this money, getting our money back. Next. True Spit is coming, y'all. Monday, April 26th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. PE through rap. Yes, please. Yes, y'all, they're going to be giving political education through rapping, through culture, music. Next announcement.
We got Go Off Sis, which is Fridays at 8 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be with our hosts, Afeni and Dio. And this is a revolutionary advice column, y'all. So please hop in there, ask these beautiful revolutionaries any kind of questions that you want to ask them, and they'll give you some revolutionary advice. All advice will be anti-colonial. So please join us Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live.
Period. What's next? Land back, y'all. Y'all, these photos in this book are so beautiful. Can you see? Oh my goodness. Y'all, please, if you can afford to purchase it. If you cannot, make sure that your chapter can help you get it. This is super important. I just want to thank each and every one of you for attending this book trap and our last book trap. We fared thee well. We hope that we did a great job in helping to break this down so you could really digest it and internalize it and go forth with this knowledge, just like with all of our book traps. So please, if this is your first book trap, please stay with us. Continue on this journey. We do revolutionary books from around the world. We is about to go to Hawaii, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be led by indigenous people of Turtle Island and Pachamama, informing you and giving you great political education and entertainment. What? These other book clubs are crumbling because they were boring and stale. But Black Camera's book club continues without a hitch.
Another month.
And last but not least, I want to appreciate and thank our SG because they do not like doing this kind of stuff, y'all. They don't like being in front of the camera and talking all the time. But they did it as a service to our people and to be there for them and to be cadre. To understand that we have to do things we don't enjoy to get to freedom. But what makes us enjoy it is y'all's participation, is y'all's enjoyment, right? Makes us understand and y'all's development. So we hope that we're good teachers to you because that is our job. It's not to be like these smart heads browbeating you and being like, we're smarter than you, but to inform and give information, political education to So I hope we did y'all a good job. Did we do a good job? Did we inform y'all?
Y'all feel informed? Y'all know the classic study of guerrilla warfare now? I hope. Back, everybody.
What Sicko said, welcome, comrade. Was that, yes, Sicko? Did we do a good job, y'all? Yes. Y'all did so good. Thank you, Cher. Thank you. Cher's the only person that thought that. It's okay.
Yes.
Danny B said yes.
Thank you, Danny.
Danny B. Danny B, you did ask a question about does colonialism have any more tricks? And Kruma said that neocolonialism was the last stage. That if it does, it's not going to be able to have its tricks. You feel me? Because we're about to end it. It is ending. We're done. They don't have enough time to come up with a new trick. We're done. It's done. It's done. They will not have the ability to come with a new trick, even if they had a new trick to come up with.
There's not, like, the climate change thing kind of throws that out the door. There's no time for
out
that.
The door. Mother Nature wins again. Thank y'all so much. We love you long.
We love you strong.
And you need to go join Black Hammer today at blackhammer.org/join.
Land back, everybody.